Guten Tag, my friends. I don't know the German for that bit. Welcome, Marcus, Nico, Mihai, Vincent, Erhard, Wolfo. Welcome. There is a patch notes of the changes on the CAV beta going live, but there isn't too much significant, really. Going to do some multiplayer today on said live version, so I guess it's not the CAV beta anymore, it's just the live version. It's not a beta. Freunde. Welcome, welcome, everyone else. Geordie, Peter, Jeff. Okay. Who wants to play? Password is Violent Frog, one word, lowercase. How about a free-for-all to kick off the day? Haven't played any multiplayer for a little while. We've been doing the campaign streams, but I kind of fancy multiplayer today, and then the CAV beta came along, so I was like, oh, it's a sign. Listen to Gork and Mork. Outer region. Welcome, Buddy Bo. Was going to sleep, but I'm a play. That's the spirit. Might keep it on the desert. 3 more. Who we got? Anyone welcome to play? You don't have to be the best in the world. I'm a heretic, sire. Maybe today is the day that you jump into to multiplayer, then jamming. Maybe it's the day. Maybe it's time you step up your game. Played Bannerlord for too long. People still play Bannerlord? Croaky. I've never played on your stream before. Now's my chance. You'll have many a chance. Should I keep working remotely or should I join? I think that's an easy one. You can do work again afterwards, right? What's 20 minutes? It's a lunch break. It's your lunch break, that's all. Your second lunch break. Welcome, Eric. We got Sans. 2 more. Anybody welcome. Welcome, Marth. Hopefully not long now till Warhammer 3. I'm ready. My body is ready. My beard is ready. Give it to me. The password is Violent Frog. One word, lowercase. Lowercase, no space. Violent Frog. Like if Kermit went mental and went on a killing spree, you'd say, shit, that's a violent frog. I think that should clear it up. Here he is. One more. Who we got? You need to update? Scheiße. Shouldn't take too long. I don't think it's a massive update. Although Total War updates can be finicky. So we got some Dark Elves. We got some Empire. We got some Skaven. Horn Wars going in. He's going in. Welcome, Willow. I would join, but I have work. Thanks, Willow. Enjoy. I can't remember what your work was. Stacking shelves? That old chestnut? Kermit the Ever Chosen. Pretty much. Oh, crikey. One more. Who's in? There we go. Iker. Alright. Play whoever you like, fellas. Try not to take too long building your army, period, please. Ready up when you're good to go. Can't find the game. If you can't find the game, you might need to add me on Steam. Sometimes it doesn't appear for certain people for God knows what reason. But if you add me on Steam, it should help. What faction's everybody going to play first on Warhammer 3? Who's grabbing you? Obviously, we don't know about a couple of factions yet, but there's 4 or 5 we do know about. Who you got? I'm a Kislev man. I'm ready for some Kislev. If it's Chaos, probably some Khorne. Welcome, Catalyst. I'm all good. Don't know about the rest of these muggos. Slanesh. See, some people are just like dedicated. Like they don't even care about seeing the army or the faction. They're just like, I know which one my favorite is. I haven't even seen him yet. He might be the shittest faction in the game, but I'm going for Slanesh. I'm sure I'll be alright though, like all of them. Cathay Nurgle. I'm torn between Cathay and Kislev. Khorne Nurgle. The nation calls. A fairly mixed bag then. Cathay. Yeah, Cathay seems to be the most popular good guy faction. And maybe the most popular faction. Milton, please don't ping me randomly. I will just remove you from my friends list if you do that all the time. Cathay dwarves with mobility. I feel like it's going to be more Empire with mobility. Although, you know, Empire have mobility, so it's just Empire. I'm getting more Empire vibes. I feel like their infantry might not be as tanky as it seems. Hold on, I think someone's knocking at my door. Crikey. I don't know anything about Warhammer Fantasy lore, so just let the blood flow. Depends kind of what factions you like, really. Whether you like defensive factions or aggressive factions or magic-y factions, non-magic-y factions, slow factions, fast factions, etc. Do we do 2 1v1s or actual free-for-all? Whatever you like. You don't have to fight the person in front of you. I'm extremely excited for the other 2 Chaos Gods. Save my favorite for last. Well, we got the pre-order race as well. Whoever it may be. Maybe that'll grab some people away. Kislev should have a polar bear legendary lord. I mean, they sort of do. They have mounts. Alright, we're underway. So we got Iker versus Sands. And Tuck versus Outer. Outer's got a bit of ranged. Got a couple of Scourge runners. Got a little Manticore with Marathi. Bit of CAV. Some sisters, or witch elves rather. And then just spears and a chill Geist. No, chill of Sontar. I knew it had chill in the name. Skaven coming up. Got those wolf rats. Got some speedy rats. Got Gorich. Warlock Master. Bunch of stuff. Clan rats. So not going too ranged heavy, as you usually expect from the Skaven these days. Doggos coming in to munch on the chariots. Getting out of there though. A little bit risky for them being close to the edge of the map. Might go off. Manticore maybe going to try and get them gone. Gorich though. Gorich is coming. Over on this side, Empire Cav trying to get a bit of a flank on. Gets routed though by the dragon. The Fireborn are there. They should be able to get rid of those fairly easy. Cav trying to get around to the missiles. Meets the Sword Masters though. I was thinking about organising a faction war on your Discord if there are enough people for it. Do you want to participate? Don't you want to participate? No, I don't really play multiplayer that much nowadays. I'm just waiting for Warhammer 3, I think, before I really get back into multiplayer. Will Slanesh demons have pasties? What? They're Cornwall Slanesh demons. Wolf rats getting the cab jumping on them. These Eshin Triads not fighting their best target. They probably want to get the chill of Sontar, really. Empire and High Elves clashing in the slowest frontline fight you've ever seen. The fairly sturdy Silvering Guard versus the Swordsman. Damage advantage to the Swordsman probably, but they're not going to get through Silvering. All the missiles, a lot of missiles for the Empire actually. Seems to be doing well to protect them. What ogre race it may be, who knows? I think that's the obvious choice. I don't think CA's really hidden it at all. They've said a lot of stuff. Looks like the old Dark Elves getting the better of this one. Still got some sensor bearers going though. Beating their way through Dread Spears. A lot of broken Skaven though before they've really made their full, used all their potential. Half health, half health, half health. That's going to regenerate. Nearly lost his lord, he's just about to survive though. Empire getting some routing going, but High Elves got some strong stuff left. Getting rid of those missiles is all they need to do. Dragonborn? Dragonborn? Yeah, he's got the Dragonborn from Skyrim. Listen out for those dragon shouts. By which, of course, I meant the Fireborn. Little final transmutation upgraded coming in. It's on old Tyrion. Doing some nice damage to him. Do love a nice final transmutation. Is it old Balthazar? It is. He could probably be over here disrupting some missiles, though. He can make himself useful. I'm a big Dwarves Empire fan, so any faction that functions like them. Yeah, I guess Cathay will probably be that one then. Skaven mostly been mopped up over here. Still got some stuff chewing away at Outer's bits and bobs, so to speak. It's got a lot of healthy stuff though. These two are beating the hell out of each other pretty well. Are you playing replays or watching live? These are live games, my friend. We're watching live. Still got a bit of artillery left, some missiles. Maybe they can get back to something. Oof. Crispy men. Outer's got a lot left. Everyone's going to have to team up against him. They didn't show the gut magic in the reveal. Fair point. Nah, it's pasties. They got sausage rolls. Slanesh ladies with sausage rolls. I see your dream. Kind of like the idea of demons eating pasties. See? That's a way more exciting trailer. Yeah, I mean, I think this one's a GG. This is the classic case of one guy's army doesn't get beaten down too badly, and then the other two guys have beaten each other down so much that the first guy that won pretty much just can casually stroll in and finish off whoever's left and get the last man standing bonus. It's one of those, I think. Outer's still got this as well with a lot of ammo. It's free monies. Free big monies. Removing them will be paid DLC. I mean, I think we're kind of accustomed to that now, right? Total War Warhammer. There's a lot of paid DLC. Hundreds of pounds or dollars or euros worth. It's like High Elves are going to win it over here. A lot of points on the board, though. See, Iker, even though he's caught up to Outer in the points, he is absolutely depleted. And he has no chance against all of this. So, it's pretty much a GG. In Total War Warhammer 3, we need to make a Dark versus Hume battle. Oh, there's many battles we'll have, I'm sure. Although we'll have a couple of new modes. Whether they'll be any good or not is another question, though. Domination or whatever. Survival battles. Though those are co-op. I've played 4K hours, so I made worth of my money. Sounds like it. Yeah, I don't see the huge issue with like paid DLC and factions being DLC, because it gives you a bunch of things. Because all the money that you spend on these DLCs goes back into the game for the most part, right? It's not like they're all like CAs all driving around in Ferraris, and that's where all your money's gone. It's gone on making more DLCs and more better games and blah 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 blah. So I don't pay for the I say that it's easy for me to say from someone who doesn't actually have to pay for the games, but if I did, I wouldn't really mind paying for the games. That's why I buy games I like, even though I could get them for free. Like I'll buy Elden Ring because I love Dark Souls games and all their games, So I'll happily throw my money at them, even though I could get it from Games Planet for free. It's good to support stuff you enjoy, right? And it does keep it... it allows us to keep having content as well. Imagine if Total War Warhammer 2 came out 4 years ago and there was no DLC up to this point. Would we still be playing it? No, it would be dead. It would be dead a couple of years ago, probably. But the DLC has kept it alive and has kept us excited and gives us new stuff to play with. And that isn't possible unless you pay for the DLC, right? Because they can't do that for free. They can't put in that kind of work for free. Right. Password is Violent Frog. Violent Frog. Just Kermit on a rampage. Violent Frog. Good game, fellas. Well played, Outer. I didn't actually see if you won, but I assume he did. Anyone else want to play? Who's waiting to play? Maybe we should do a 2v2? Do a little 2v2. How's the patch? We're only one match in, but she didn't pay too much attention to how the cavalry was doing there. I probably should have. We'll see if they survive better. They should do. Alright, what do we got? Okay. Iker and Netoid. Where do you rate yourselves? Beginner, skill level, intermediate, or fucking pro? Just to try and make the matches even. Because Odd Ratio is a good player. Marth is a bit of a newer player. So we kind of got a good and a newer player. So if we can get the same on the other side, it would be good. Intermediate, okay. Welcome, Savage. Savage Chiara, you're the Discord person, yes. Okay. Well, we can get you a new battle after this one if you like. Welcome, Mel. Right, we'll roll with this. Acre and Odd. Unless Neotide is an absolute pro. Sorry, Netoid is an absolute pro, then maybe it'll be unbalanced, but hopefully it should be right. Let's try this map. We don't really play this map very often. Let's try it. It might be rubbish. We'll find out. Got absolutely mowed, but it was fun. Glad you enjoyed yourself, Tuck. Outer is one of the better players of our community, so you were up against a toughie. Although I don't think Dark Elves are really his faction, but he knows how to make them work. Steam down for anyone? Well, I can speak for me and the 5 people in this game. No, we're fine. We're still here. Just ready up when you're ready. Otherwise, I'll sit here waiting for you and you'll sit here waiting for me. So just go. Here we can do a new battle next. 2 men ready. This is a 2v2. Lizardmen and Beastmen versus Norskins and High Elves. What a weird combo. Do you think Araby will come in Warhammer 3? It's possible. If any of those kind of lesser known factions or lesser fleshed out factions are going to make it, there's a good chance they could do it. They could have some cool stuff. Middle Eastern kind of stuff. Camel cavalry. I'm sure there's plenty of fantasy stuff they could do. Some magic carpets. Genies. CA said no Araby. Yeah, CA said a lot of things. Who knows? Depends what Games Workshop really wants to do. It's not really up to them. Be cool to see Nippon. Japanese faction would be cool. Oh, this map is not a pleasant one. Ew, lots of trees. Good luck, fellas. I mean, it's an alright map for a 1v1, but a 2v2, it's probably a bit too tree heavy. I do apologize. Some you win them, some you lose. They used to say no DLC for DLC. Have they done DLC for DLC? I suppose they have. The faction packs. Because you have Wood Elves as a DLC, and then you have the Wood Elves unit DLCs, Twisted and Twilight, etc. What's the speed of the fastest aerial unit at the moment? It's probably like 120. But that's an Arcane Phoenix or something. They're just Iridian. It'll take a minute to draw the classic Soul in a Boat. There he is. Just having a good time in his boat. Alright. Here we go. Oh, it's so... well, I've not only made this horrible for them to play, I've made it horrible for us to watch. I can only apologize. This kind of looks like Vampire Counts. So it's trees, and then there's some trees attacking the trees, and then by the trees there's some more trees. And if you watch over there, you can see some trees, and then back into the trees we go. Some Marauders running into Goreherd. Some Berserkers down there though. All the anti-large beasts of Tashnar. Getting into some CAV. They should munch those down fairly well. I forget who's fighting who here. So it's lizards and goats versus Norskins and elves. Is it elves? It's elves, yeah. Elves just playing it cool on the edge at the moment. Beasts of Tashnar been routed though. They're going to go straight off the map. It's a risky place to fight if you got a low leadership unit. There they go. They did a little bit of work, but certainly not enough. They're not cheap. Same over here as well. Letting the skirmish cav get grabbed. Odd. You're better than this. What's happening? Just letting them get stuck into melee cav. It's not going to do them any favors. Got the brutes of the hound. They could be getting into some of these skinks. High elves and beasts over here. Oh, got the big chunky boy. Got all the big chunky boys over here. Gorgon, Minotaurs. Who's that? Is that old Archmage? Okay. Thought it was Eltharion for a second. Lizard men. Maybe getting the better over here. Chain lightning coming down. Doesn't do a great deal, but maybe it still can. It's a bit shiny. Oh, I did some work on those. Did a little work on those. Oh, we actually bought a Kotal. Got a lot of doggos. A lot of doggos and a lot of targets. So Taurox. It is old Taurox boy. Javaslath lady. Says the brood mother. So it is. Chunky lass. Neotide playing it cool. I keep calling him Neotide. It's not his name, but that's what I'm going to call him. He's not rushing up. He's taken out most of Odd's stronger stuff. He's lost some of his cav a little bit. But Odd doesn't have a great deal left. High elves are a little bit all over the place at this point. Some units over here, but they're in fairly good health overall. These missiles are pretty vulnerable. Boop. Boop, boop. The Minotaurs are pretty much one attack away from being routed. One big dragon attack. They'll probably rout and run away. Where do greenskins fit with so many bad guys? What do you mean? Are they a good guy or a bad guy? Oh, Odd's not out of it yet. Oh, he's got some surprise berserkers from somewhere. Got a nice little clump of troops here. He's got Throg beating on the Saurus old one. Old blood even. Or he would be if he turned around. Wake up, Throg. What Total War games fallen behind? What do you mean? I mean, obviously the old games have fallen behind. That Shogun 2, it's well behind, mate. Why haven't they done any DLCs? I think the Beastmen are slowly getting a bit worn down. High Elves might be able to hold on. Odd, turning it around, maybe. Maybe. Still got old Throg fighting away. Lizardman still got some cav, but not a lot else other than that Kotal. Sad that the ambush bug is still a thing. What is the ambush bug? I mean, you say it won't ever be fixed, but it's not going to matter in, what, 6 months' time or however long till Warhammer 3. Maybe the Beastmen can do this. Still got Taurox in good health. Lizard's running out of juice. Running out of lizard juice. Kotal getting stuck in. The AI stops doing anything. AI goes passive when ambushed. I mean, obviously they're just petrified with fear. Ambushes are pretty scary, you know? High elves kind of breaking, kind of still around. Still got some spearmen going, so they're not out of it yet. This one could still go either way. This game needs to be more optimized for 2v2. It is in a way. It would just be helpful if they told you which maps are really better for 2v2 or not. If only someone did a guide with illustrations of all the maps. Is Total War Napoleon worth a money? I don't know. I've never really played it. I played it a little bit, but I was never too into the gun-heavy Total Wars. Never really enjoyed that historical period too much. I'm more of a sword and shield kind of fella. Yeah, I can't say I've come across the AI being like passive in ambush battles. Uh-oh. Archmage of Heavens fighting a Gorgon and now has Taurox coming her way. She might be taking a dirt nap any second now. Down she gets. She did. That could spell the end for the High Elves. I'm not sure how they're going to take down these two without any ammo. Well, they got a little bit of ammo. Maybe they can shoot them. Do I need to add you for the next game on Steam? You might do. It depends if you can see the game, but you can do if you want it. If the for some reason some people can't see games in the lobby, some can, some can't. Doesn't seem to be any explanation for it. But the password is Violent Frog anyway, so that should be all you need. Violent Frog. Beastmen turned it around. Nice. Oh. Norskins have all gone home. Never mind, they're in the trees. Still got Throg, still got the Werkin. So it's going to come down to Beastmen versus Norskins for the most part. Woo. Welcome, Bassi. Bassi. Still got some Minotaurs, as some might pronounce. I personally say Minotaurs. Lobby name is Z-Wars. 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 You'll see it. You might even be able to see it now. It'll just tell you that it's full or ongoing. Maybe you won't be able to see it actually because it's ongoing. I don't know. I don't know, man. Oh, Taurox is in trouble. He's got Throg bonking him on the head. Bonk. He's getting out of there. Oh, the Gorgon's arrived though. Whoa, whoa. It's getting close. It's all in the woods now. Some doggos arrive. Throg's taking a bit of a pounding. Maybe the Werkin can save him. Get that rear attack. Go on, Werkin, son. Oh, Throg's hanging in there. The lad's got heart. We'll give him that. He's got heart. Oh! Oh! The Werkin puts the Gorgon down. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, Throg's nearly out of it. That Werkin needs to look alive. Look alive, Werkin. Save your boss. There you go. Don't run into a tree. Oh, gets a slap. Throg's just in the way at the moment. He's trying to get out of there. He's got a little regen health left, so if he can stay out the way. Werkin gets a slap. 500 health. It's all going to come down to this, potentially. If Throg survives. Throg's down. Throggy dead. Oh. Poor Throgo. Can Taurox finish off the High Elves and the Werkin? And anything else that Odd might have? Ooh, pops those buffs. Brass body. Werkin's got a lot of health though. Oh, I think he routed. I think the Norskins done did it. And the High Elves. I think they freaking done did it. Ooh, yeah. They did. Well played, fellas. Odd and Marth taking the victory. Throg getting some relatively decent work. More work out of the Werkin though. Berserkers didn't get a lot done. Skirmish Cav. 2 of them did okay. Other one got routed off. As did the Beasts. Fimir did alright. Marth. Couldn't quite get the damage out of the Sword Masters. The Loth and Seaguard did some work though. Everything else, Dragon did a bit of work. Damage fairly spread out in High Elves' army. Ica, nice damage on Taurox, 4,000 damage value. Beefy. Not so much from the infantry. Little from the doggos, a lot from the Minotaurs, a lot from the Gorgon, and a fair amount from the Broodmother. Netoid, not a lot from his lord or his heroes. Nice work from his chameleon skinks though. Not a great deal from the Cav. Bit of work from the mobility overall. Well, there we go. Good game, fellas. Well played. Thanks for playing. Oh, alright then. Noob battle. Noobie noobs. Where's the noobs at? Alright, if you could all take your leave, pretty please. Jaru was playing. Marth, I'm going to boot you out just because you played just then, and I think somebody else said they wanted to play a noob battle. But we can do more than one, so don't worry. Can maybe get you in one later as well. Who wanted to play? Somebody said earlier. A noob battle. Looking for new players who either preferably have not played multiplayer at all, or only played a couple of battles, or are really terrible and don't know what they're doing. We could do a few of these, so if there's a few people waiting, we can do a couple. Don't worry if you don't get in. Sorry, Martha, I just read you a thing now. But you can join a later one. Owls are owlsome. Who's this? Alright, Ryan, we can get you in a later one. Fear not. We can do a couple of these. I would play, but the game is still downloaded. Shit. I'm a noob, but work might shout at me. Well, I'll shout at them, so come on in. Oh, Owls is down. How's the new Cav feeling? Don't know yet. I'm not actually playing, so I can't really say that well. But some of the Cavs put up okay numbers. There's a space. Password is Violent Frog. One word, lowercase, Violent Frog. Let's change the map so we don't have to play that horrible map again. Eschen, nice and simple. Password is Violent Frog, but this is a noob battle, so you are definitely not a noob, Shock. Not anymore. You were ours, but you chickened out. Why did you chicken out, my friend? you're welcome to play. As long as you're a noob. That's why you should play. If you're scared of it, if you're a little bit worried about it, that's the reason to play. Because don't worry about it. If you can play here in front of all these people, nobody's, you realize it's not that bad. Nobody's going to come down on you. Just having some fun. Smashing some units into other units and seeing if you can win. I don't have to do anything because CAV badge is automatically in-game. No need to do anything. Properties and library. No, you don't need to mess around with the betas. Just make sure your betas section or whatever is set to none. Not in a beta, just on the normal version. That's it. Nobody else? Owls, you don't want to come back? Ryan, you want to jump in? Anyone else? If nobody does, then Marth can jump back in. Welcome, Naholder. If I wasn't pretending to work right now, I'd love to play. All these workers from home. This is the stuff they can get away with. Been downloading the beta to join this, but it's stuck at 100%. Yeah, Total War updates are really weird. They just get stuck. Don't try and fix it, just wait. They're just a bit weird for some reason. Hold on, Martha. I think someone else was coming. Get out of here. Get out of it. Somebody else said they were coming, didn't they? Ryan said he's coming. I'll jump in. What campaign do you play on stream? I've been playing Vampires, which I was going to do today, but I decided to do a little bit of this instead. Played any Chivalry lately? I have not. I'll probably play when it comes to Steam. I don't really want to play on Epic. I'm not hugely fussed about it. Especially with Battlefield coming. I'm only going to have time for one kind of shooter game. Even though it's not obviously shooting, but it's not far off. Same idea. Welcome V-Count. Just in time to make it first. So the room name is Z-Wars. The password is Violent Frog. If you can't see the room name, add me on Steam, then it should appear. Please do hurry. The stream is not that exciting when we're staring at the selection screen. The Mullet Man's arrived. Is this Ryan? Welcome, Vicious. How am I? Living the dream. Living the dream. I'm all good. Correct, I am Mullet Man. Cool. Play whichever faction you like. Is it going to be Dwarves? Dwarves, the classic noob faction. For all the wrong reasons, probably. But like I say, play what you like. If you have any questions about, like, building armies and like this phase of a battle, like choosing your army, by all means, drop them. It's not all about in the game, in the battle. Before the battle is often, well, if you build your army well enough and you get a bit lucky, you can win a battle before it's even started, because army matchups can sometimes be quite decisive. It's rare, but it happens. Depends how well people build their armies. What is the coolest unit in Warhammer 3? I'm liking the look of the soul grinders. They look pretty cool. But yeah, that's hard to say at the moment. Bear Cavalry, obviously, is going to be up there. That's some cool stuff. Did you see the Kairos got his faction mechanic shown? I did see the blog go up, but I started streaming it as it went up, but I have had it for like a day or two, but I just haven't looked at it yet. What factions are you feeling so far in Warhammer 3? Kislev and Khorne. Kislev and Khorne. I'm looking forward to Kislev because there's not really any like good guy factions that I really like in Warhammer 2 that much. Like Empire is probably my favorite one, but they're like the generic choice, right? I don't really like Lizardmen or Wood Elves or whoever else, good guys. So I've been waiting for a good guy faction that I could really get behind, and I feel like Kislev might be the one. Your mic insanely quiet? Shouldn't be. Move it a little closer. How's this? Too loud? Sorry about that. I did turn my game sound up, actually. Maybe I turned it up too much. I think I turned it up the other day. Maybe I need to turn it down. It's very corny. Do you got a gut feeling who's going to go up against Nurgle or Slanesh? Any wish list armies? I know some things, so I can't really say any gut feelings. I just know some things. That's all I'll say. Cathay is looking really cool. Yeah, I'm unsure about Cathay. I'm either gonna... It depends if you can play a rush army. If I can play some kind of rush army with Cathay, I'll be down. But if it's like defensive or nothing, I probably won't like it that much. Uh-oh. Okay, apparently we died. I'll remake the room. Z-Wars 1. Same password. Back in a sec. Alright, rejoin if you wish. Hopefully you can remember your armies. Please try not to take too long. Let's get this moving. I want to see some battling. Welcome, Doom. Where was I? I've lost where I was in the chat. It's like reading a book. You got to remember where you were. Mullet Man's back. Chiara's back. Let's do it. Please try to build quick. Try not to take too long at least. Hopefully you remember your armies. Triple little Grom build. Sounds fun. Triple elemental bear build. That's the real one. That's the big boy build. Chiara's ready. Ryan won't be far behind, hopefully. I never understand why they made it 1 versus 0 by default. So you can fight yourself. Your greatest enemy is yourself. You must sit in the... I wonder if you can start the game like that. Just train by yourself. Just practice your army movement. That's good training. Pretty curious about the Cathay Dragon transformations. I guess it'll be a Malice kind of vibe, but dragons. Here we go. Let's do it. Let's see what they brought. See what they planned here. Didn't get a chance to join the AoE 4 stream last week. Do you plan to do any more? Probably not. Just because, I don't know, it's not that fun of a game to stream. Because I like to take my time, whereas everyone that I played with likes to kind of just rush and play fast. Which I know is how you're supposed to play the game. But it kind of just made it a bit boring. But Battlefield's coming soon, so I'll probably just be streaming that. And nothing else. Maybe a bit of Total War, but we'll see. We'll see. The CAV beta isn't still in beta. It's no longer a beta. Technically, my title is a lie. Because now it's just CAV Live is live. The CAV now. Okay, right. Chaos and Dwarflets. So, Dwarfs are a faction that newer players often choose primarily because they maybe feel easier to play because they're defensive and they're tough, and you don't necessarily need to do a lot. Their stats will win the battle for you half the time, within reason. So they're attractive to newer players for that reason, which is a reason why I say not to actually play them, because there's a lot you don't get to do with dwarfs. Like, you don't have cavalry, so you don't get to micromanage and practice using cavalry. You don't have to practice disrupting missiles, because you don't have anything that can really do it. You don't get to practice with any monsters, or dodging anti-large and things like that. So they're very unique, and that doesn't really translate to help you learn other factions. Whereas if you play the Empire, for example, you have to do a bit of everything, for the most part. Although they don't have a ton of monsters, but still, High Elves, Dark Elves, Wood Elves, Lizard Men even. They're all pretty well-rounded factions that give you a lot to play with. And the answer to Dwarfs, the risk of playing Dwarfs and why Dwarfs aren't really that strong, you don't really see them played a ton in multiplayer, not in a higher level sense, is because they're very easy to, the antidote for them is quite simple. You just need a lot of armor piercing, and you need stuff that can disrupt their missiles. And then that's all you need. Simple as. The Chiara here. It's got Chaos Marauders, so lacking the armor piercing. Got some Chosen. Also not armor piercing. Also not armor piercing. 2 Hell Cannons. Sigvold. And a little bit of Horseman. Skirmish Cav. So basically, not enough armor piercing. So she's probably going to struggle. Those Hell Cannons might do a good bit of work. Play the Lizardmen. You'll get a T-Rex. That's some good reason in there. The dwarfs have a flame cannon. I think Chaos is the best faction to learn the game basics, then transition to such things as Empire. Yeah, they're a decent faction to play. But their lack of missiles kind of means you don't get to practice protecting missiles, which is a pretty important thing generally. Because most factions have to protect missiles. Chaos, all you have to do is these. Just run your missiles away, which can be done automatically with the skirmish button, right? So it's not quite the same as having a few missile units back here to protect. Those Hell Cannons doing some work, but Chaos is probably going to run out of juice and doesn't have enough armor-piercing power to get through all of this stuff. Can you go in the next noob battle? Should be able to. Little funky spell going off. So Burning Head. Burning Head, not a great spell against dwarfs because Burning Head isn't great against armor. And also, dwarves have a 25% resistance to magic. So magic spells in general, like this, damage magic spells, usually aren't the best choice. Some kind of buff or debuff is more likely to kind of give you more use. So the gyrocopters, taking down the Hell Cannons, should be using the skirmish cav to come and take these out, because otherwise they have nothing else that can deal with them. Got the giant though, does the chaos. So the giant's got that big armor piercing damage. That's what you need against dwarfs, but it is very slow. If these two or three focus this thing, it's going bye-byes pretty quick. So it's risky to bring because it's so slow. Or this as well. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's not impossible for the Chaos to win by any means. He's done a lot of damage with those Hell Cannons, and that can add up. That can make, for the lack of armor piercing, make up for it. One of them's been taken out though with about half its ammo. Does a nice job to get rid of that. So he's got these. These are the antidote. These are the cure for these big boys. Otherwise they're going to be sick on all your little dwarfs. That's the only big boys he's got, actually. She's got. Chosen. Taking some pounding from the missiles. Do you usually use cav aggressively or hold them back to plug holes in the line? That really depends on the situation and the faction. Maybe we can give some examples of that later. It's hard in this battle because nobody has any kind of aggressive cavalry. But it depends. You could move your cavalry up to the left side, say, of your army, and then you see what's there. If the enemy has nothing, then you could flank around and get behind them. But if they've got two superior cavs to your two cavs, then you should probably avoid that fight, right? You should run away and find them something else to do. So really, it's situational. There's really no one answer. Fireball is amazing against dwarfs. Does magic resist not affect debuffs at all? I don't believe so. I think it's just like actual magical damage. Because minus 20 melee defense is minus 20 melee defense. Whoever you use it on. Burning Head not being good against armor feels weird. Would boil the squats in their armor. Maybe. Doesn't stay on them very long though, so don't know. Broken away the old gyros. Still got some ammo. Got these two with ammo. Shooting at broken units, they should be moving up. They could take some high ground here. Does help a little bit. The old Hell Cannon is nearly out of ammo. This one still feels like it could go either way. The favor bar is saying chaos. But if he can use these missiles well, he might be able to do something. Oh, actually, oh yeah, old Sigvald's on the field. You ain't getting through Sigvald. You ain't getting through Sigvald, son. Yeah, you show him, Siggy. Who's the Dwarf Lord, actually? I didn't actually spot. Spot who it was. They're gone now. Welcome, dingers. Bum, 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 bum. Got the armor-piercing slayers. They might be the best bet to take down Sigvold. Actually, if you could get the missiles firing on Sigvold all at once, you'd probably be able to do some reasonable damage. Otherwise, I think the Chaos will be able to wear them down. Are you going to make some tactics? What do you mean? Doing more battles after this one, I could join. Yeah, we'll do some more of these. If there's a lot of people waiting, we can do a few more. I feel like Chiara doesn't know that you can aim the spells. I don't know if you can hear me, but if you hold the mouse button, you can actually aim the spell to whichever direction you want. You don't have to just plop it down where it's facing initially, you know? But watch the replay of this so they can both get some tips, because they won't really be able to pay that much attention while they're playing, as it will get pretty crazy. Hellcannon MVP? Could be. I can't find the match, so I'm going to send a friend invite your way. That's fine. Made the great Fellows of Doom tactic. That's a classic. Looks like Chaos are going to do it. Only a few Slayers remain. What you got planned for Warhammer 3? Oh, I can't tell you that. If I tell you that, you'll all be stealing my ideas. No, I got a lot of plans for Warhammer 3. That's kind of what I'm waiting for. I've got a lot of plans that I was going to do for Warhammer 2, but I was like, well, it just makes more sense to wait when people are excited about Total War Warhammer again with Warhammer 3. So, good game, good game. Chaos taking the victory there. Probably shouldn't have, given the army composition and the lack of armor piercing. But a few key mistakes by the dwarves let them down. Let's have a little watch of the replay. You misclicked 3 times? Okay, I was just checking that you knew that you could hold the spell and move it. Because a lot of people don't know that at first. Because the game doesn't really tell you that you can do that. So, you know. Just tuned in. How's the CAV? Still not actually sure yet. It's hard to tell, really. Like, it should just be better. They should just be better at surviving. So CAV should be able to pump out stuff for longer. That's all. So Chaos had the ranged advantage here, which meant they could just sit there, as they did, and the dwarves had to move up, as they did. So that's fine. So dwarves trading with the horsemen. Probably should have fallen back from this fight. There's no reason to take this fight. It's not terrible, but the gyrocopters against the Chaos, they could shoot any of this stuff, and it can't do anything about it, apart from the Hell Cannon. But they could shoot these Chosen, and there's nothing the Chosen could do about it. Whereas if they shoot these skirmish calves, the skirmish calves will shoot back, and they will slowly die. So best off to look for those matchups where you're not going to lose anything at all. Unless you absolutely have to take out these, because you've got the Thunderers and you've got the Flame Cannon. You've got other ways to deal with Skirmish Cav, better ways to deal with Skirmish Cav. So there's no reason to take that fight. He did have to rush though, because he was just getting plastered by those Hell Cannons. Yeah, it's a new battle, so we're not expecting high level plays or anything. But I'm just going to say anything I pick up on. Some things like aren't a huge, like that's not a huge deal fighting the skirmish cav with the gyrocopters, but it is ultimately you're going to come off losing that fight. Probably anyway. There's that first burning head. So as I mentioned in the battle, burning head and fire magic in general Probably not the best lore to bring against dwarfs. Because while Burning Head is a strong spell, it is weak against armor. And as we see it go through these, even the miners, one of the crappier units, you can see it's only taken off 4, 4, 3, 7. Oh, lost them. Yeah, so it only took like maybe 100 or so, 200 health off. Which is a big weight, like the amount of magic that spell cost to the damage it did. Not that much, right? So as Chaos, you could have brought the Lore of Metal. You could have brought the Lore of Shadows. Both of those have some nice spells. The Lore of Shadows has... is it the Withering? Or what? There's an armor reduction spell. That's a great choice against the dwarfs. Brings down their armor, right? So yeah, Fire, usually not great against dwarfs. Starts to engage on the front line. So these really should have been as well. These Chaos Marauders should have been the great weapons. If you did want to bring this army, like this style of army, great weapons would have armor piercing. They do better against this stuff. Or well, maybe not the Slayers, but against this stuff, the armored stuff. Got to bring all the armor piercing you can. The Giant, so this is one of the big misses for the dwarfs. It's even got Thunderers right in front of it. You shoot the Thunderers at that Giant. 2 units there. You got the Flame Cannon as well. That one's just returning. So 3 units of Thunderers and a Flame Cannon shooting the Giant. That thing's gone in like a minute or less, probably. So he missed a trick there, taking out the Giant. Also had the Slayers. Another mistake here. Trying to catch Skirmish Cav. Like, Skirmish Cav is fast. It's 90 speed. Unless your unit has 91 speed or more, it's a pointless chase. And for poor old Slayers who only have 40 speed, of course, they're never going to catch them. And they're very vulnerable to them because they have 0 armor. So this is actually a great matchup for the Skirmish Cav because they can do damage while being in 0 danger at all. So shouldn't have chased them, and he's pulled those a long way out of position as well. They're a long way from the rest of the army now. They can't be effective if... Well, they could be jumping on the Giant, right? The biggest large problem. But instead they're all the way over here. Same with this one. This one was fighting this unit, so that's not so bad. It's just kind of been left fighting that unit and is now chasing the route. That's fine, that happens, but... Yeah, that other one, a little bit far away. Sigvold probably should be up in the fight somewhere. Go on, son. Flame cannons raining down. There wasn't a great deal of mobility in the Chaos Army either. See, these Thunderers, they could be messed up. If he had 1 unit of Chaos Knights or some Dragon Ogres, these are done, and these are done. But because there's no real mobility other than Skirmish Cav, who aren't very good at taking out dwarfs, it's kind of just missing a trick. But yeah, these Hell Cannons, I think, are probably the biggest damage dealers. Oh, no, 700. 1,000. So they did a lot of work. This one's about to get taken out. But they certainly did a lot. Dwarfs don't have a great deal that can deal with this kind of thing, other than the Gyrocopters, so he's made the good choice to come after them. Maybe just needed to do this a bit sooner. Like, instead of going after that Skirmish Cav, should have come after these. Because there wouldn't have been much he could do about it, other than bring the Skirmish Cav back. Getting some shots on the Chosen. Again, these Chosens would have been better off as Great Weapon Chosen, because they have armor piercing. Obviously, they're more expensive. Giants. Giants really aren't worth it. Like, the money you spend on a Giant, you'd probably be better off putting on a Shaggoth or something. Because it has that mobility, and that's incredibly powerful in multiplayer. Although he does hit like a tank truck, his slowness does let him down. And like I said, if the dwarves were a little bit more on it with the missiles, they would have focused fired him down in no time. Slayers are going to come though. How much damage has the Giant done at this point? Giant's only done 300 damage, so it hasn't been fighting any units of real worth. Going after some Longbeards now. So yeah, a few bits and bobs there for both sides. He just ate the dwarf. Yeah, they do that. Good game though, good game. But yeah, I think if you were bringing dwarfs, chaos versus dwarfs, Sigvald's a fine choice. I'd probably like more great weapons. Chaos warrior great weapons, maybe a couple of the cheap ones, just so you can have some army size. A couple of chosen great weapons. Then just some disruptors, Gorby's chariot, some CAV. Good to have a little bit of skirmish CAV. Some throwing axes because they're armor piercing. Good for dwarf killing. And we don't really need the anti-large of the ogres, obviously, but the speed is just super valuable. Trolls, actually. Trolls are a good call. We don't have a caster, though, so we might have to put the money on a caster with that. Actually, we don't even need Sigvald for this, I don't think. We could just go metal, manticore, maybe even a chaos dragon. You could go maybe shadows. Maybe shadows would be a little easier to use. And then you just want the withering, so that's minus 30 armor to an enemy. That can help take stuff down. Enfeebling foe. Those two will do. Don't need half of that crap. Still a little bit over though. Could maybe just drop out one of those boys. Could do something like that maybe. Because then you got plenty of mobility. Chariot, cavalry, dragon lord, trolls. They can all move around easy. You got a lot of frontline killing power with armor piercing, most importantly, for killing dwarf armor. And that's it. Disrupt ranged units, kill dwarfs. That's all you need to do against dwarfs. Easy. Okay. We'll do another one then. Z-Wars number 2 this time. Password is the same. There's been a new trailer for Portal. Oh shit. We'll have a look after this. Or after this stream. Or at the end of this stream. Alright, Marth, you can jump back in if you want. And anyone else that wants to play. Sorry if I've missed any chat. Yeah, there's always a lot to talk about. Milton, you're not a noob. Get out of here. We need noobs. Furious noobs. You can play in a minute, Milton. But trying to do some noob battles. And I think you're above the noob level. I want some high-level plays. Me versus Soothsayer. Kukid versus Viscount. That's what I want to see. That's the match I'm waiting for. Is this lobby bugged? I'm going to boot you out for now, Marth. Rejoin, though. I was just seemed like you were bugged. So I was just helping you along. Shall we say. But rejoin. Welcome, Elage. Password is Violent Frog. Imagine Kermit just picking up a machete and charging into a supermarket, just killing everybody. Violent Frog, you'd say. You'd say, oh shit, that's a violent frog. I'm out of here. And then you proceed to leave, otherwise you will be killed by Kermit the Frog. And that doesn't look good on a death certificate, to be honest. It's embarrassing. It's not how I want to go. If anyone's taking me out, it's Miss Piggy. Can you join again? You can in a minute. There we go. Liliart wanted to play. Liliart. I don't know how to pronounce that. You people with your crazy names. Okay, let's get a better map. Play whichever factions you like. Build however you wish. If you have any questions about building your army, feel free to drop them. Even if your opponent's going to see them. It's fine. That's rather graphic. Hey, don't blame me. Blame Kermit. Psycho Frog. Liart. Very well. Don't know where I stand in skill level. Maybe somewhere between noob and low skilled? Well, we can find out. We can put you in the next one. Bum 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 bum. Dark elves and lizards, eh? Unit caps on. It's okay, I already played, just being greedy. That's okay. Marth's greedy. Marth's playing again. People are welcome to play again every now and again. But, you know, try to get through as many people that want to play as possible. Are you going to create some Warhammer 2 tournaments? I did have one on the cards a couple of months ago. Before they announced the delay for Warhammer 3, I was like, okay, we'll get one last tournament in for Warhammer 2 before Warhammer 3 comes out. And then they pushed back Warhammer 3. And I arranged a tournament at the start of August, but a bunch of people were away. So we said, oh, we'll delay it then. We'll wait till everyone's back. And then it got delayed, and then, yeah, it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back. So maybe do it in like January or something. Maybe December. We'll see. My skill level is I lost to Lotus Moon in quick battles. I mean, I think 95% of players would lose to Lotus Moon in quick battles, so I wouldn't worry too much. I forgot how to play. I'll have to start all over again. Oh, I'm sure there's still some stuff in there, Eledge. I have 167 wins, but 1,000 defeats. Scheiße. That's right, over time, you can improve your ratio. One day it'll be the other way around. Any quick tips for micromanagement? Depends what you struggle with. Do you struggle with literally just moving your mouse fast enough? Do you struggle with seeing which units should go where? Do you struggle with camera movement? Are you excited for Warhammer 3? You can bet your balls I am. Yeah, man, it should be cool. I'm ready. Warhammer 2 has been around a long time. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready for Warhammer 3. Alright, let's go, Marth. We're ready. I've still yet to play a second multiplayer match after the first stream. Hey, you're welcome to jump in. Or maybe do a free-for-all to finish. Here we go. Never tried multiplayer. Stick to L. Very hard campaign. What's L? Oh, legendary. Took me a second there. I was like, what's L? Lowest? Oh yeah, legendary. Duh. How hard would I get stumped in multiplayer? It's really a different world. It also depends how you play campaign. Do you use a lot of doom stacks? Do you use a lot of cheese? Do you make it kind of too easy for yourself? If you do, you'll probably find it quite tough in multiplayer. If you rely on just sitting back with loads of artillery or bringing 10 Dreadsorians, like that doesn't really set you up well to learn how to play Total War properly, so you probably will struggle a bit in multiplayer. Do you pause battles? Do you slow-mo battles? Because you can't do that in multiplayer. That's often something that catches people out. They're not ready to have to constantly play, you know? I think it's just the pace. People aren't ready for the pace a lot of the time. The speed of it. Because in single player, when things get a little bit too crazy, you can just hit the pause button and just relax. Take your time and figure out what's going on. Multiplayer, oh no, son. The heat's on. Non-stop. Any plans on first Total War Warhammer 3 campaign once it comes out, or are you waiting for more faction reveals to happen first? Probably Kislev, Kostelton, and maybe Khorne. If the ogres are in there, though, they might take over. Ogres are growing on me the more I learn about them. How are the Tomb Kings or Vampire Coast in multiplayer? I rarely see them. They can be fine. They can be decent enough. Most factions are fine in multiplayer. Some are a little tougher, maybe like the High Elves can be a little tougher to really make work, depending. If you're playing like lesser, like newer players though, then whoever, like, doesn't really matter. But if you're playing in some pro tournaments, there's certain factions that you should probably avoid a little more. Alright. Right now I mostly struggle with completely forgetting units exist after they return from route. Yeah, that's quite common. You just need to use the minimap for that, as you can't see up here because it's behind my face. But just keep an eye on your minimap. Every now and again, just check it, look where all the yellow dots are, and then you'll know, you can see which ones are yours and which ones are kind of not where they should be. You know, they're in the middle of nowhere, they've probably routed and returned. Anyway. Malekith charging up. Bastiladon goes for a Gaze of Malice at a bit of a funny angle. Bit of a strange angle. Hit it on the Saurus warriors, but they didn't really feel it too much. Little chill wind coming in. Not doing a great deal to these heavily armored Saurus. Just a little bit though. Malekith taking this damage. He's taken more damage than he's done, so it's probably not been worth it. So let's have a look. Dark Elf army, lots of Dread Spears. Got some Dread Shards, Dark Shards. Executioners. So incredibly infantry heavy. Had some cavalry over here, lost it. So initial analysis of the build, too much infantry. But the same could actually be said for the lizard men, so kind of evens out. Dropping that bomb on old Mazda, not Mazda Mundi, it's a Fire Slan, okay. Breath attack. Does a good bit of damage. This is a weird battle, but it's just like just the lords. It's just all about the lords. Malekith doing all the damage, taking damage. And this guy, this toad, just taking it on the chin. Oh, he's had enough. He's fighting back with a fireball. Ooh, nearly dodged it, not quite. What's the most powerful mechanic in Warhammer 2? In battle or campaign? In battle, it's probably healing. Which Chaos God? Choose your poison. Khorne. I like hyper-aggressive factions and I don't like magic. Khorne is perfect. Remember Kermit cost 911. Welcome, Morris. We're all good in here, I think. Create the Raw Missile Tournament. What, you mean like a who's the best? Front line's finally coming up. These are nearly in range. Get them in range. So both playing incredibly defensive so far. Nothing wrong with that necessarily. So this cavalry missing a trick. Should have ignored those units and just come straight in the middle and just started messing these up. It could stop those from firing. Instead it's gone after a relatively not that dangerous Bleak Swords. Also the Line of Death, I should point out. A Line of Death here. If you watch my Noob Mistakes videos, you'll know all about it. Front lines are coming in though, gets those counter charges. Saurus are going to absolutely eat these Dread Spears for breakfast. Oh no. Oh no, another Line of Death. Oh no. If he has a, what's it called? I'm sure the lizard men have a, oh he doesn't have the, if he had the Thunderous one. Is it the Thunderous one? I can't remember. Whichever one has that solar beam. I would have a feel with it. You know, oh yeah, Burning Head, of course. That's the one. I think that's the one I was thinking of, but I just didn't register that he had the Fire Slan. Because nobody really brings the Fire Slan that often. The Fire Slan is taking it in the face as well. Needs to get out of there. If he Burning Heads this, we're all going to laugh. Oh, he's realised, oh fucking hell. Oh no, he's being chased by a Saurus. So I think that means he's got his units on skirmish, which usually isn't a good idea either. Although in this case it is, because they aren't going to get destroyed otherwise. Oh, Malekith's in a bad way. He shouldn't be able to outrun these, but apparently they're dopey, so they've just didn't really chase him. Got the dopey cold ones. So you could probably just go and take him out. Oh, hitting them with that. Can't remember what that spell's called, but it hurts. You could finish the Lord off, but I'm not sure he's going to have anything left to actually win the rest of the battle with. How to avoid goon squads in multiplayer? That's quite an easy one, actually. Goon squads is something that really only works against noobs. It's what noobs do to other noobs. You don't really see goon squads in high level, because high level players know how to deal with it. Down goes the old toad, though. But there's a lot of Saurus left. There are some executioners. Still a lot of ammo in these dark shards as well. There is a lot of lizards on the field. What's goon squads? Goon squads is when somebody brings like maybe a lord and 2 heroes. Say like Karl Franz and an Empire captain and a wizard, all on flying mounts. So 3 characters. And then they just charge them straight after the enemy lord, in this case Malekith. And then they usually kill them off and rout them off very quickly. The simplest way to beat it is A, to be aware of it. Like, it's very obvious when someone's going to bring a goon squad because they've usually got 3 flying characters. Or 3 ground characters. Very often they travel together as well, so it's fairly obvious they're coming. You just need units to run through for the most part. So if they're chasing you, let's say this was the your enemy lord, or sorry, your lord, and they were chasing you, you could just run that lord through this unit. Let's say this is a friendly unit. Well, I suppose we'll do this as an actual friendly unit. You could run them this way through your friendly units, and then the goon squad would get stuck on this. And then you can actually very often turn the tide and jump on those units. It's hard to explain, but I think I've got a couple of videos. I think I've got a video. It's a bunch of 2v2s, I think. Dealing with goon squads. Just Google my name on YouTube and goon squads, and I think I've got a video of that. Talking more about that stuff. I think. Fey and double paladin. Sure. That's what I mean. There's loads of combinations. You can do all sorts of stuff. Executioners. About to go down, but I think lizards are going to be okay. You don't see them used in the same way, though. Like, in lower levels, you see goon squads like just piling in straight after the Lord straight away. Whereas you do still see them in high level, sure, but it's not in like the same way. It's a much more careful and tactical way, because it's a lot. When a good player knows how to deal with it. That's what I mean. Good game, fellas. Let's have a little look at the replay. You can both relax now. Yeah, Lord without protection. That's very often the noob mistake, which is why goon squads happen a lot at lower level. I tried to burn and hit that line of death, but the game wouldn't let me. Yeah, so a couple of lines of death here. So who was Lizardmen? I forget who was who. Either way, whoever was Lizardmen needed to space their units out a bit. They were right next to each other, which in some cases is fine. But pretty much every faction has some kind of wind spell these days. And Dark Elves do have a couple. If they had like a pendulum, and they did it here, or a burning head, and they did it here, they're going to hit all of your units. At least, well, a pendulum would definitely hit these 2. A burning head would probably hit 2, but could hit all 4. Right, and various other wind spells. He does it with a chill wind here. That's not the longest of spells. It's a little bit off, but it hit this unit. Doesn't do a great deal of damage to these, though. But yeah, you just needed some space. So instead of having 4 units like this, all next to each other, they should have been more like this. Or staggered as well. So they could either be like this, staggered, or they could just be spaced out quite a lot. Otherwise, wind spells ruin your life. And also it serves to make your army wider. So at the moment your front line is this wide, but it could be this wide, or wider, this wide. And having an army wider makes you harder to flank, because it means they have to go farther around to get behind you. So it serves you to be as wide as possible. I guess that's more the gist of it. Try to make your army as wide as possible without leaving too huge a gaps. But for lizardmen, they can kind of get away with big gaps because they don't have to worry about defending a backline so much, because chameleon skinks can kind of look after themselves, or skink skirmishers in this case. It's not like having dark shards where they really need protection. You can see the dark elves have done it a little bit here. Got some gaps between the units. Just reduces the chance that wind spells are going to absolutely ruin you. The dark elves going pretty heavy after the Lord, but at the cost of their own Lord. Probably could have just dropped a Soul Stealer at this point, right here. Did he have Soul Stealer? He didn't have Soul Stealer. He's in trouble. Yeah, Doombolt. He does have Soul Stealer. Should have dropped that, because you could have ripped the health off of this and this. Soul Stealer's good against characters. Slan and a Scar Veteran here. That's money in the bank. Not to mention all the other units around. Marth was the Dark Elves. Okay. So bringing this cav in 2 by itself. This should have stayed back here. And the other one, which obviously died earlier. Wait till this is all engaged. And then bring these in. Otherwise, their entire army will turn and just take this out. Whether that means bringing a unit over, bringing some mobility over, shooting it. There's nothing else for them to do at the moment, so this is easy to deal with. You know what I mean? But when he's got the front line up in his face, he's got a lot to micro. He's whizzing around all over the map, trying to micro all his shit, so he won't notice this cav sneaking up, coming in the back so much, you know? And lizards, got 2 cavs. Could be bringing these, setting these up from behind right now. Just sit here, and again, wait till he's engaged and distracted, and then you can absolutely ruin all 4 of these units with 2 units of cold ones. So in here, didn't really need to come after these bleak saws. Could have cut inside and come and smash these up. Could have come outside, come and smash these up. Disrupt it. If they've got powerful missiles, which the Dark Elves really do, that should be priority number 1 for any kind of fast mobility unit. Stop these from firing. Don't let them fire at all. Make sure they get about 10 damage value, and you'll go a long way. And at the moment, they're sniping his Lord. Should have noticed this and pulled them back, because they don't have very long range. And here's the burning head we were talking about, the opportunity. He said he was trying to make it happen, but maybe he didn't have the magic at the time. Or it was still on recharge, maybe. I don't know if he used it already, actually, but... Here we go. So here's that cav. Coming in to do what it needs to do, but it should have been doing this maybe like a minute ago or 2 minutes ago. Same with this one. Ignore the Harganeth Executioners. Don't worry about them. They're out of position. They're a long way from being useful right now. They should be over here. But instead, they're out here doing nothing. Running around. Just ignore them. Come and ruin these missiles. Nice save by Malekith, though. Brings Malekith down to stop them. But now the front line's collapsed, and the Dark Shards are on the run. That's why having too many missiles can be a little risky. Um, it had a lot of dread spears, which probably weren't going to be greatly useful. There's probably not a bunch of great choices for the front line, though, with the Dark Elves. So maybe it probably is the best choice, but you need to really support them a little more and help them. There's so much to talk about, man. I can't even think of what to say, because there's so much to say. The other point to argue is that the Lizard Men are a faction that will, for the most part, rush you. They can play a little defensive with Bastiladons and stuff, solar engines. So bringing lots of missiles, like 4 units of Dark Shards, is maybe a little too much. You may have wanted like 2 units of Dark Shards and maybe some repeater crossbows, because at least they're mobile, and you don't have to rely so much on using that ammo. Could have brought a bit more CAV, a bit more anti-large CAV, some cold ones. Just couldn't quite deal with all the Saurus, I think. All the hefty armor. Anyway, we'll be here forever otherwise. Hopefully there's a few useful bits in there. Okay, what's the time? 20 to 5. Right, let's have a free-for-all. Anybody welcome. Unless you've played already. If you played already, please just wait. If there's still spaces in like a minute's time, or 2 minutes' time, then you may join. Welcome, Soul. Another mistake of mine was my Bastillodon was hitting the hill, not the enemies. Yeah, line of sight can be the tricky thing with those low firing arcs. You barely touch multiplayer. Running out of time for today, but we'll do some more of this on Saturday maybe, so if you want to play then. Sorry if not everyone gets to play in the new battles. But hey, we'll keep doing them, so plenty of streams left. Shulk's arrived, Volcom's arrived, Ice Mountain has arrived, Yord's made it in. Alright. Free for all. Play whichever factions you like. We're going to go Troll Country. Yeah, but if you bring a Slan, a slow Slan, you really need kind of a bodyguard unit. Usually Temple Guard is the obvious choice. Although, not that they could have done much about getting shot, but that was just needing to pull the Lord back. The code was Vicious Frog, right? Close. Violent Frog. Violent Frog. Although it's a bit late now. Sorry, Tundi. I know you've been waiting to play for a few games. I think I'll wait for Saturday. Sounds like a plan, Zoe. Usually do 1 PM. That'll be GMT. Wherever you may be in the world, people. What map do you play on? Troll Country. It's right there. Yeah, I did a poll the other day on YouTube what most people find difficult in battles. And army management or army movement and micromanagement, control and keybinds was the most chosen answer of like 60%. So I'll probably do some more stuff on that. I think there's a lot of kind of decent, really simple exercises you can do. It's just a case of building habits. That's literally all it is. It's not hard. Nothing about Total War Micro is hard. It's just habit. Getting into the habit of things. Because moving your mouse around that quickly isn't that difficult. Drawing boxes isn't difficult. It's mostly just kind of thinking ahead. Like chess, I suppose. Fast-paced chess. Although, you know, chess can be pretty fast-paced. Depending on how you play. Who you play. Speed chess. Is this the same CAV beta you covered in previous video? I mean, it's probably been a little bit adjusted since then, but yeah, basically. It just means that when you charge your cavalry into a charging infantry, and you both charge into each other, that your CAV won't get absolutely ruined in damage. Because they really shouldn't be, because, you know, they're CAV. They're supposed to be charging stuff. So yeah, CAV survives better now, essentially. Another big mistake of mine was I felt pressured to hit OK and left my cavalry and skirmishers way back. Yeah, there's no rush. I think micro is easily identifiable issue. Well, the other options were, what else did I put? Unit matchups, so knowing which units kind of beat which units. Faction identity, like knowing your factions and who's good at what, and, you know, strengths and weaknesses. And what you just said, composition. Which units should I put in my army? So yeah, micro is more relatable, sure. But some people are like, all of them. I struggle with all of them, which is kind of obvious. But it was kind of trying to find which is the most, you know, which one do people really struggle with the most? Because there'll probably be a lot of players, new players to Warhammer 3. So yeah, I'll probably try and do some new guides for Warhammer 3, new movement guides. One of the first videos I ever made for Total War Warhammer was a movement guide. That did well, so if I do another one, do an updated one. Because I think there's a bunch of essential controls that you have to know if you want to be decent at moving your army around and being good at micro. And then there's some other kind of more advanced ones which aren't essential, but they still can be useful. But it depends, yeah, how much you want to take on board and how much you personally find is useful. Is CAV meta effective in multiplayer? Potentially. If by CAV meta you mean bringing a CAV heavy army. Could be, depending on the army. Chess doesn't have Flock of Doom. Well, obviously you're playing the wrong kind of chess. Because we've got Flock of Doom, Penumbral Pendulum, where you just swing your hand across the chessboard and just knock all the pieces off. that's how you win. That's how you win Warhammer chess. You got Pit of Shades, where you just put a hoover down and you just start spinning the nozzle around above the chessboard, and you just start picking up pieces and hoovering up pieces, and you just see what happens. Might get your own pieces. It's a risk. That's how Pit of Shades is, right? You might hit your own boys. All right, what do we got? Yord coming in as a Skaven. Volcom as the vampires. Ice Mountain as the Dark Elves. And Shog as the Bretonians. Spirit Leech removes the opponent's king. And now we've got Amber Spear. So you're basically allowed to take a bow and arrow, and you're allowed to take a shot at the king with a real life full size bow and arrow. But if you hit anything else or you miss, then it doesn't count. It's the king or nothing. It's a bit OP, some might say. Some people call it cheese. It's a bit frowned upon, to be honest. Here we go. Vampires. Watch out for Infantry Graveguard. Mortis Engine. Terrorgeist. Hexwraiths. Heinrich. Good old Kemmler. Don't see him on the field too often. Looking good. Looking young. Looking useful. Useful? Youthful. Youthful and useful. Clan Rats for the Skaven. Brood Horror. Missiles. Some Triads. Lots arranged. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Protect these rats. There's no protection. There's one unit. They'll do nothing. These have got free money. These have got cash money right here. Shog Coming in hefty. Uh-oh, Shog's going to see this. Shog's not going to miss the opportunity. He's going to see the free cash monies. Maybe these can do something. They do have stalks, so they will be invisible. Until about now. Maybe they can do something to these Knights of the Realm. But these Globadiers going to struggle. Shog's abandoned. Oh, Shog's... okay. Shog's gone a little bit too far out with all his cav and has left all his his own artillery and missiles quite vulnerable, protected by nothing more than peasant mob. This may be a grave error for our Shog. Vampires and Dark Elves playing it cool. Dark Elves playing a bit of a funny corner formation here. I think he needs to learn the rotation keybinds. Oh, Shog's losing all his missiles. Those wolf rats came out the trees. They were hidden away. A very Skaven plan. Takes out the catapult early. He's going to get some nice points from those. Shog, though, returning the favour. Taking out all the Skaven missiles and artillery. Getting some heals on his cav. Welcome, Ace. Oh, Terrorgeist and Malekith throwing down. These boys need to get some points on the board. Probably want to get in there. The Lord. It's the old Fate. It's got his Lord there though. Ikit. Look alive, Ikit. Here he goes, going after the Fate. Vampires moving up. Isn't Krell anti-infantry? He's not anti-large. Can't remember. We'll see if he makes an appearance. Getting stuck in on this side. Is he using the buff? So he's going to pin him in with zombies. Nice. Welcome, Dwarvendor. Vampires approaching. Perhaps lacking in the mobility though. They got to stop these shades from firing. Otherwise they're going to get worn down by those armor-piercing missiles pretty quick. Shog getting rid of some bits. Shog's lost a lot of his army, but he's keeping his cav in reasonable health, most of it. The Fae taking a bit of a beating, but she's okay. The Paladin still in there. Just in from work. Did I miss lots of fun? You certainly did. Hasn't the CAV beta been open for a while? It's been in beta, yeah, but it hasn't been live. I haven't really touched it since it's been in beta, other than when it first went into beta. And then I changed back and didn't touch it again. No real reason, just didn't want to keep switching, you know. Shoo, Bretonia and Skaven. Both got a lot of points on the board, but both taking a fair old pounding in this fight. Green Knight, down to half health-ish. Gonna get rid of Ikit though. This little cat ball's been fighting for a while, but it's got rid of Malekith for the most part. Time to hit some big hammer and anvil. Poof. SFO, I'll never update. It's some admirable dedication. Paladin routage. That assassin. Oh no, it's a brute horror. Thought it was an assassin for some reason. Not quite the same shape. Shock's still got some cav left. But it could be a tough fight for him to take the last man standing bonus. Depends how well these factions kill each other off. Dark Elves starting to look like they're in a bit of trouble. Lots of routage. These Shades have still got a lot of health left. Used up a lot of their ammo, but... oh, these ones have barely used any ammo. And have still got loads of health. He's got to try and save those, or they're going to get routed straight off. It's going to be a pretty big loss for Ice Mountain. So, Vampire's looking pretty good here. They still got a healthy Lord, a healthy Heinrich, a healthy Banshee, a healthy Terrorgeist. Oh, they've come back. They're still in the game. They can still get a few more points. Ice Mountain, most definitely not going to be able to win at this point, but he can still get himself a respectable score, although he's already pretty much there. 7,000, not too bad. I think about 7,000 is the honourable mark. Anything less than 7,000, you probably let yourself down, really. Sometimes you just get unlucky, but sometimes you just play badly, and you only get 5,000 points, and then you feel silly. I should know, it's happened to me. Happens to the best of us at times. Sometimes you make silly decisions. Sometimes you just get outmatched. Sometimes you got a bad composition versus the enemy composition. He's going to get rid of these last Dark Elf bits. And then... he's got the Fae in full health. Maybe he can grind them down with some cav charges and the Green Knight. Shog is leading the way in points, but Volkerm as the Vampires isn't far behind, so it's pretty much between these two. Jord is fully out now. Gets a respectable 10,000 points though with his Skaven. Made a nice play with those wolf rats at the start of the battle. Came round, took out the artillery and the cav, the artillery and the missiles. Sorry, the peasants, and that netted him a lot of points. And then has beaten down a lot of the cav, but he's still got a few left. But there's still a lot of vampire stuff left. Vampire's just chilling now. Oh. So it can actually pay quite heavily for the vampires to sit near the edge of the map here. Because they never route, they never have to worry about things routing and going off the map. Whereas most other factions do, right? So if he breaks this cavalry over here, then it'll probably route off the map. Although, you know, they're pretty much dead anyway, but hey, you can't edge camp. Got to get in there. Just would be favourable if you could draw him into that fight. There was one thing I don't get with vampires. The Master Necromancer versus the Necromancer magic item to get power back. What don't you get about it? I'd have to look at them to remember what they do. I see Kyrdos info is out. Looks interesting. I haven't had a proper look yet. Myself. Oh, Hex Wraiths. Oh, Hex Wraiths on the Green Knight. They both got magical attacks, so they'll pretty much beat each other up. Shog charging in for the lady. Doing what he can, but he probably doesn't have enough juice. Unless he can get enough points to stay ahead. Currently, I don't think he does. I think the last man standing bonus will push Volkerm ahead. Yeah, definitely will. Oh, and now I'm playing as Malekith. Yes, good. This old bug. You can see I now have a unit card for some reason. And Malekith is in the bottom left. Malekith is trying to take over. He's trying to come back. He can't accept his loss. He's upset. So he's trying to hack my game. Can I do anything? Group up. Formation. Missile front. Quick. Melee mode. Okay, fuck it. Just withdraw. Everyone withdraw. Get out. Get out. You're fucked. You're fucked, Bretonia. Right, fine. Try the melee front. This'll definitely work. Oh, the Green Knight's going out. The Fae is surrounded. She's out of regen. She's getting that Mortis engine effect, though. It's getting shocked those points. You can see them just trickling up. Maybe it will push him ahead. Maybe. Maybe. Probably not. Probably not. I thought you couldn't draw in multiplayer. Oh, I was going to draw in multiplayer. You have to, if you Google Total War telestration tools, you can find out how to turn them on in every mode. It's really easy. If you really want them. But unless you're streaming, I don't know why you would. Or maybe like playing with a teammate or something. A friend in a co-op campaign. We won't go through all the kills. That'll take forever. Volker taking the win though. 16,000 points. Shog not far behind. Just made that mistake early on to let his artillery missiles get eaten by Yord. They probably got a lot of damage value. Fair amount. Made their money back at least. Nice, good game, fellas. Everyone getting a respectable score. Close game. Cool. I think we'll leave it there for today. Boom, boom. Thanks for playing, everybody. I want to watch this Battlefield trailer real quick. Let's catch up on me chat. The Necromancer item, you take a little damage for power reserve, and the Master Necromancer item make all the same stuff. 30 wait time for use item. Let's have a look. So, Master Necromancer, this fella. What does he have? The Wand of Jet. The Necromancer item. This one. Forbidden Rod. Take a little damage for power reserve. And the Master Necromancer item. Make all your stuff dirty. Can't quite decipher the last bit. Do you mean this one? What don't you get about them? See you later, Salt. So one thing of note with this is that Wand of Jet only increases power reserve. It says increase or... yeah, just increase, whereas the other one says greatly improved, great increase. It's a bigger chunk of magic, right? So yeah, greatly and just normal. Maybe that's the detail you're missing, perhaps? I'm not sure what the question is, to be honest, but maybe that's what you mean. See, one means you take a little bit of damage, but you get a fair chunk back. Fair chunk of power reserves, because it's greatly improved and great increase. Whereas this boy, he only has a increase and an improved. Not great, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Is unbreakable units affected fear and terror? No. They cannot be routed. Fear and terror means nothing to them. Send it on Steam chat? Okay. Let's just watch this Battlefield trailer real quick. If you're not interested in Battlefield, then no worries. I'll see you later if you don't want to watch this, but I'm just going to give it a quick watch. As apparently there is one. So VCount informs us. Oh. Where is he? There he is. All right. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. I just pressed my button to change my screen and it started the goddamn thing. Yeah, I looked at Discord. Does Warhammer 1 even get updates anymore? I very much doubt it. Yeah, sorry Zoe, I just wasn't quite sure what the question was, but by all means, drop it in Steam chat, it's fine. Okay, let's have a watch of this, see what's up, 1 minute 24. So this is Battlefield Portal. This is the thing that allows you to kind of make your own game modes and to use stuff from past games. So they haven't really shown too much of it, so hopefully this is informative. Let's find out. Oh, there's wall hack lady.
There's how we get through. Move! What the Sam Hill is that? Marching armored vehicle.
Oh, that's my worst nightmare.
Lock down, airborne.
Just open space and vehicles.
Multiple hostiles on my mark.
Bad Company 2. Oh man, I missed that map. I used to play on that map a lot back in the day.
Got something, Bodio.
That's pretty cool.
Follow me.
Kind of missing all the details. Go through it in a sec.
Engage on that objective. Hold this position.
Friendly forces targeting an objective in Bravo sector.
That's cool. That's cool. Du-dum-dum-du-dum-dum. El Alamein had a ton of ditches. I don't think I really played that. What battlefield was that in? I pretty much started playing at Bad Company 2, so... Okay, it's gone terrible. Why is it gone 480p? So this is playing as like a World War II thing. So you can see all the soldiers are like little World War II soldiers. And then this futuristic ship comes flying in.
That's how we get through. Move! What the Sam Hill is that? Marching armored vehicle.
Did it say what that was actually?
There's how we get through. Move! What the
Didn't.
Sam Hill is that? Marching armored vehicle.
So this one is El Alamein versus 1942 versus 2042. I guess in vehicles. That's kind of cool. Might be fun, I suppose. El Alamein was in 1942. Okay. Battle of the Bulge and El Alamein are starter maps for 1942. Cool. Yeah, so I guess this is a Portal-made mode of lots of vehicles. See, that might be fun. Like, I might like that. Even though I'm not generally into vehicles too much. I don't mind tanks.
Hostile airborne.
Wait, what was that? Just the air vehicles.
Hostile airborne.
Like some bomber planes.
Multiple hostiles
Yeah, man, I remember this map. I hope it has a transport chopper.
on my mark.
That's Bad Company 2 versus 2042. Oh. Got the lighthouse. What's this weird gun? Look at this LMG. It's got like a weird rail on it. What's that about? Anything else we notice? Your rules.
Copy.
I wish they showed us a bit more of the editor. So that was cool. The old suicide quad bike.
Follow me.
Digga digga dig. Digga digga dig. Arica Harbor, this is a damn good map. I kind of wish that I kind of don't like the third person kills though. I'd rather it stay first person. Takes you out of it otherwise. I don't want to be reminded that I'm playing a character, you know? A specialist with a name.
Engage on that objective. Hold this position.
Oh, that's Nosha Canals, isn't it?
Friendly forces targeting an objective in Bravo sector.
Good old Caspian border. I mean, they make it look super mental, but there'd probably be like 4 people around at any given time. That's it. Given how big the maps are. I guess on the smaller maps though, something like Caspian border with 128 players, if the map size isn't changing, then yeah. Interesting. Doesn't really tell us that much. Kind of just shows us stuff we already kind of knew, I guess. Have they released a blog alongside this or anything? Normally that's what they do. That's for firing from the hip, I guess. Yeah, it could be. Interesting all the same. I look forward to Battlefield 2042. Comes on just about a week now. Sorry, about 10 days now. Just under. Should be good. Thanks for watching, people. I'll be back tomorrow with Battlefield 1, actually. It'll be one of the final Battlefield 1 streams. Apart from next week, there'll be a few, and then on Friday, I guess it is, I'm going to be playing all the 2042 in the world. I may even do less streams earlier in the week, just to prepare myself for lots of streams at the end of the week. We'll see how we go. Thanks for watching, people. Enjoy your Wednesday. See you in the